It is from the first vision that Mormons believe the absolute non-biblical stance, as I said, that God has a body of flesh and bones. All of Joseph Smith's, there's 6 of them at least, are progressive in nature. It starts off vague. It goes to, you want to hear another one really quickly? Here's another one. I called upon the Lord in mighty prayer. A pillar of fire appeared above it presently rested upon me and filled me with joy unspeakable. A personage appeared in the midst of the pillar of flame, which was spread all around, and yet nothing consumed. Another personage soon appeared like unto the first. He said to me, thy sins are forgiven thee. He testified unto me that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and I saw many angels in this vision. I was about 14 years old when I received this communication. So we see changes right there. Now angels, plenty of angels are appearing. And we have personages who are testifying of Jesus, but not saying they're Jesus and not saying that they're God the Father. Everything is convoluted to fit the ideas he was having at the time. It's interesting to note that Joseph Smith's 1835 diary, where that last quote came from, is used as the basis for much of church history, but they edit it. They take it and they change it, and they take out things. For instance, in that version, they take out the visitation of angels in there, and they call it my first vision. Joseph in his diary says, I had my first visitation of angels when I was about 14. That's what it says, of angels. The church has taken it and said, my first vision, period. Not visitation of angels, but my first vision, to make you believe that he was talking about when he was 14 years old and God the Father visiting him. Let me summarize, and we'll go to the phones. I've talked a lot. 18 years after the first vision was supposed to have occurred, Joseph Smith suddenly provided the world with some details of the event. There is no supportive witness to Joseph Smith's claim of having a first vision in 1820, not from family, not from personal journals, not from newspapers, not from an enemy of Joseph Smith's. Nobody said this kid was walking around saying this, all right? Based on the mound of solid evidence, the details regarding his age and the religious environment are completely spurious. LDS leaders have taught for decades after his death that the first visitation was actually angels that visited him, maybe Moroni and maybe others, but not God and not Jesus Christ. The 1834 LDS Church magazine printed an account of the beginnings of Mormonism, but did not mention Joseph Smith's 1820 supposed visitation of God the Father and Jesus Christ, but started the LDS church history with Moroni's visit in 1823. In 1835, Joseph related a vision in the grove, but only mentions angels appearing, not Jesus and God the Father. Early newspaper articles which criticized Joseph Smith never mentioned the 1820 first vision or the idea that God the Father has a flesh and bone. Unlike Gordon B. Hinckley, early LDS leaders never used the first vision as proof that God had a body of flesh and bones. Never. They waited until the whole thing had been reconfigured, rewritten, re-edited, and now the prophets today who are supposed to speak to you truth tell you that the first vision of 1820 taught that Joseph saw God the Father with a body of flesh and bones and his son, and it's a complete fabrication. If, as Gordon B. Hinckley says, the whole strength of Mormonism rests on the validity of the first vision, I would look to a far less suspect account of God's truth and turn to the Bible, my brothers and sisters. Let's go to the phone, 801-973-TV20, 1-801-973-8820. We have Mark, a first-time caller, on line 1 from Salt Lake City. Mark, you're on Heart of the Matter.
Yes, Sean.
Yes.
I just wanted to be the first to thank you for this show.
You're welcome.
You're absolutely right. This is the most important one you've done so far.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Uh-huh. And I'm a big fan of the black leather jacket, by the way.
All right. A fan of the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot, Mark. You take care.
Have a good one. God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye. We're going to Chris, first-time caller from Sandy. Chris, you're on Heart of the Matter. Chris.
Oh.
You're on Heart of the Matter, man.
All right. How's it going, Sean?
I'm going well. How are you?
Good. I've been watching your show for a while now, and I'm a big fan. I actually met you in studio a couple weeks ago.
Awesome.
But I'm wondering, as a seeker, after watching your show tonight, why would anyone want to pursue the LDS religion?
I don't know. We're trying to get more people to watch the show. I mean, I don't know, except people who don't know the facts have missionaries knock on their door. They invite them to church. They go to church, and when they walk in that church, they're embraced, they're invited, people ask them to dinner, they see it's orderly, the kids have good programs, and they get caught up in the culture without really knowing the doctrines. And once you're really in there, good and solid, then those doctrines start seeping in. And people, you know, they don't know the truth, they can't see the truth, they can't hear false, they just go and they belong to a religion instead of a relationship with the Lord.
That makes sense.
That's all I could think of, my brother.
All right, well, I guess that's good enough.
Hey, thanks for calling, thanks for watching.
Yeah, for sure. See you again.
All right, Chris, bye-bye.